Let me tell you something. 1 week from now, you can be a completely different person. 1 week from now, people who knew you yesterday will look at you and say, "What happened to you?" And you'll smile because you'll know you made a decision. Most people think transformation takes years. They say, "I need more time." No, you don't need more time. You need more intensity. You need to move with urgency. You need to stop waiting for permission and start demanding results from yourself. Success is not for the lazy. It is not for the excuse makers. It is not for the people who live in the land of someday. Success bows to those who have already decided they are worthy of it. So how do you become unrecognizable in 1 week? Here's the formula. Your mind is the command center of your life. Every action you take, every decision you make, and every result you experience is a direct reflection of the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind. If you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. Most people live their entire lives in mental slavery, trapped by the limitations they have accepted as truth. They tell themselves they aren't smart enough, talented enough, or worthy enough to achieve success, and as a result, they never even try. But here's the truth. Your thoughts create your reality. If you want to transform your life in 1 week, you must first take absolute control of the one thing that controls everything, your mindset. The reason most people stay stuck is that they never challenge the way they think. They assume that just because they've believed something for years, it must be true. But what if it's not? What if everything you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you're capable of is a lie? What if the only reason you haven't achieved more is that you haven't demanded more from yourself? The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world, it's against your own mind. You must break free from the prison of your own limitations, or you will spend the rest of your life living beneath your potential. Your subconscious mind does not care whether the thoughts you feed it are positive or negative. It simply accepts whatever you give it and turns it into reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, not worthy enough, or not capable enough, your mind will take those statements as commands and ensure that you live according to them. But the same rule applies in the other direction. If you start feeding your mind with empowering, unstoppable, and unshakable beliefs, your life will begin to reflect those thoughts. The moment you decide to dominate your mindset is the moment you take back control of your destiny. Your thoughts are not random, they are programmed. Everything you've been exposed to, your environment, your upbringing, your experiences has shaped the way you think. If you grew up around people who struggle financially, you were probably programmed to believe that money is scarce and hard to earn. If you were surrounded by people who settled for mediocrity, you may have been programmed to believe that success is reserved for the lucky few. But the good news is, just as you were programmed to think small, you can reprogram yourself to think big. You can train your mind to expect success, wealth, and abundance instead of fear, doubt, and lack. Reprogramming your mind requires two things: intentionality and repetition. You cannot allow just any thought to take up space in your mind. You must become the guardian of your mental environment, allowing only those thoughts that serve your highest purpose. Every single day, you must feed your mind with powerful, success-driven thoughts until they become your default way of thinking. Affirmations, visualization, and surrounding yourself with the right influences are not just motivational gimmicks. They are tools for rewiring your subconscious to align with the life you want to create. The problem with most people is that they live life on autopilot, allowing their minds to be filled with whatever the world throws at them. They consume negativity from the news, absorb doubts from the people around them, and replay their past failures over and over again. Then they wonder why they feel stuck, why they lack confidence, and why success seems so far away. But the moment you make the decision to take control of your mindset, everything changes. Instead of letting negativity dictate your thoughts, you begin to consciously choose what you allow into your mind. You replace fear with faith, excuses with action, and limitations with possibilities. Fear is one of the biggest mental barriers that keep people from reaching their potential. But here's something most people don't realize. Fear is just a thought. It's nothing more than a story you tell yourself about what could go wrong. And just like any story, it can be rewritten. The next time fear creeps into your mind, don't let it take control. Challenge it. Ask yourself, is this fear real? Or is it just a mental illusion? More often than not, you'll realize that the thing you're afraid of isn't nearly as powerful as you thought. The moment you learn to master your fear, you become unstoppable. Excuses are another form of mental poison that must be eliminated. Every time you make an excuse, you reinforce a belief that you are powerless. You tell yourself that you don't have enough time, enough resources, or enough experience to succeed. And so you stay exactly where you are. But successful people don't entertain excuses. They understand that the only thing standing between them and their goals is the story they tell themselves about why they can't achieve them. When you stop making excuses and start taking responsibility, you take back control of your life. Your mind responds to the level of expectation you set for yourself. If you expect to struggle, you will struggle. If you expect to fail, you will fail. But if you expect to win, if you truly believe that success is inevitable, you will start making decisions and taking actions that align with that belief. It's not about wishful thinking. It's about programming your mind for success so deeply that failure is no longer an option. The most successful people in the world don't hope for success. They expect it. And that expectation influences every thought, decision, and action they take. Your environment plays a major role in shaping your mindset. You cannot develop a powerful mind while surrounding yourself with weak-minded people. If you spend your time around complainers, doubters, and people who settle for less, their mindset will rub off on you. But when you surround yourself with people who think bigger, dream bigger, and operate at a higher level, you will naturally start to elevate your own mindset. Energy is contagious. You must protect yours at all costs. The fastest way to dominate your mindset is through discipline. You must train your mind the same way an athlete trains their body. You must consistently feed it with the right thoughts, eliminate distractions, and stay focused on your goals. You must develop mental toughness, the ability to keep going even when you don't feel like it. Most people fail because they only work hard when they're motivated. But motivation is temporary. Discipline is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. It's about doing what needs to be done no matter how you feel. When you take control of your mind, you take control of your life. Your mindset is the foundation upon which everything else is built. You cannot create success with a mind that is filled with fear, doubt, and limitation. But when you develop an unstoppable mindset, one that is built on faith, confidence, and relentless action, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Most people operate at a fraction of their true potential. They move slow, hesitate, and second-guess themselves, waiting for the perfect moment to take action. But the truth is, success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who execute with speed and intensity. If you want to change your life in 1 week, you must shift your actions into overdrive. That means making decisions quickly, following through without hesitation, and taking massive action every single day. You cannot afford to waste another moment playing small or moving cautiously. The time for waiting is over. The reason most people never achieve real success is that they lack urgency. They treat their goals like optional tasks rather than non-negotiable priorities. They set a goal, make a plan, and then sit on it for weeks, months, or even years, waiting for the stars to align. But successful people move differently. They understand that speed is power. When they make a decision, they act on it immediately. They don't overanalyze. They don't wait for the right conditions. And they don't give themselves time to talk themselves out of it. They execute now and adjust as they go. The biggest mistake people make is believing they need to have everything figured out before they start. They tell themselves they need more information, more experience, or more resources before they can take action. But this is just a sophisticated form of procrastination. The truth is, action produces clarity. The only way to truly learn what works and what doesn't is by doing. When you take massive action, you gain experience, develop new skills, and create momentum. But when you hesitate, you stay stuck in the same place, watching others pass you by. There is a direct connection between the speed of your actions and the speed of your results. People who move slowly in life always wonder why success takes so long. But the reality is, success is not a matter of time, it's a matter of effort. If you take weak, half-hearted action, you will get weak, half-hearted results. But when you attack your goals with everything you've got, you will be shocked at how quickly things start to change. Most people don't have a results problem, they have an intensity problem. They move too slow, work too little, and expect too much. But success does not reward those who wait, it rewards those who move. Every single day, you must push yourself to operate at a higher level than you did the day before. You cannot afford to stay at the same pace and expect different results. Growth requires an increase in intensity. If you worked for 2 hours yesterday, work for 4 hours today. If you made 10 calls yesterday, make 20 today. If you took 1 step forward yesterday, take 5 today. The faster you move, the sooner you will separate yourself from the masses. While others are thinking, planning, and doubting, you will already be executing, winning, and achieving. Most people are controlled by their feelings. They only take action when they feel motivated, inspired, or confident. But if you rely on feelings, you will always be inconsistent. Winners do not wait to feel ready. They act whether they feel like it or not. They understand that discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. When you train yourself to take massive action regardless of how you feel, you become your actions must be driven by your commitment, not your emotions. One of the fastest ways to increase your intensity is to set aggressive deadlines. Most people give themselves way too much time to accomplish their goals, and as a result, they move at a slow and lazy pace. But when you shorten your deadlines and commit to getting things done faster, you force yourself to move with urgency. Instead of giving yourself 6 months to complete a project, commit to doing it in 6 weeks. Instead of taking a year to master a skill, commit to doing it in 90 days. When you put yourself under pressure, you unlock levels of focus and productivity that most people never experience. Your environment plays a major role in your ability to take massive action. If you are surrounded by people who move slow, think small, and make excuses, their energy will rub off on you. You must place yourself in an environment that forces you to level up. That means surrounding yourself with people who move fast, think big, and push you to operate at your highest level. Success is contagious, but so is mediocrity. If you want to increase your intensity, you must eliminate anything and anyone that slows you down. One of the biggest action killers is overthinking. People waste so much time analyzing, debating, and worrying about the possible outcomes that they never actually do anything. But overthinking is just another form of fear. It keeps you stuck in your head instead of moving in the real world. The fastest way to break out of this cycle is to adopt a bias for action. Instead of thinking about what you need to do, just start doing it. Instead of planning every tiny detail, take the first step and figure out the rest along the way. Success is built on movement, not perfection. Taking massive action does not mean working hard for one day and then slowing down. It requires sustained effort, consistency, and an unwavering commitment to execution. Most people start strong but fade quickly. They get excited, put in a burst of effort, and then return to their old habits as soon as the initial motivation wears off. But real success comes from relentless execution, day after day, week after week, year after year. If you want to separate yourself from the masses, you must be willing to outwork, outlast, and out-execute everyone around you. Another major key to shifting into overdrive is eliminating distractions. Every minute you spend scrolling on social media, watching TV, or engaging in meaningless conversations is a minute you could have spent building your future. You must become obsessed with progress. That means cutting out anything that does not move you closer to your goals. The world is full of distractions designed to steal your time and energy. But you must be ruthless in protecting your focus. Every moment you waste is a moment you will never get back. The difference between those who achieve massive success and those who remain average is the speed and intensity of their actions. The world does not reward potential, good ideas, or wishful thinking. It rewards those who move first, move fast, and move with purpose. If you want to change your life in 1 week, you must stop waiting, stop hesitating, and start executing at a level you never have before. Distraction is the silent killer of dreams. It sneaks into your life disguised as entertainment, comfort, or routine. And before you know it, years have passed and you are still in the same place. Most people are not struggling because they lack potential. They are struggling because they allow distractions to steal their time, energy, and focus. If you want to change your life in 1 week, you must take control of your attention. You must recognize that every distraction is a trade-off. Every minute spent on meaningless activities is a minute taken away from building your future. Most people do not realize how much time they waste. They think they are busy, but they are busy doing things that do not move them forward. Scrolling through social media for hours, watching TV, engaging in gossip, and getting caught up in drama are all forms of self-sabotage. These distractions might feel harmless in the moment, but over time, they add up to wasted potential. The harsh truth is that many people are not failing because they lack opportunities. They are failing because they are too distracted to seize them. If you are serious about transforming your life, you must eliminate anything that does not serve your goals. One of the biggest distractions in life is negative people. Some people will drain your energy, fill your mind with doubt, and keep you stuck in a cycle of mediocrity. They will tell you that your goals are unrealistic, that success is too hard, and that you should settle for what you have. But you must protect your mind like a fortress. If someone is not adding value to your life, they are subtracting from it. You cannot afford to let the wrong influences shape your mindset. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Technology is another major distraction that robs people of their focus. Social media, emails, notifications, and endless online content are designed to keep you addicted. Companies spend billions of dollars studying how to capture your attention and keep you hooked. And if you are not careful, you will fall into the trap of consuming instead of creating, watching instead of doing. You must take back control of your mind, set limits on social media, turn off unnecessary notifications, and use technology as a tool for growth rather than a source of distraction. Most people are addicted to comfort, and comfort is one of the biggest distractions from success. They seek entertainment over education, pleasure over progress, and relaxation over results. But success requires sacrifice. You cannot have a life of luxury without first putting in the work. If you spend more time seeking comfort than you do chasing excellence, you will always be stuck in the same place. It is time to get uncomfortable. It is time to cut out the mindless entertainment and replace it with activities that build your future. To eliminate distractions, you must become intentional with your time. Every minute of your day should have a purpose. If you do not control your schedule, the world will control it for you. Plan your day the night before. Set clear priorities. Allocate specific time blocks for deep work, learning, and self-improvement. The most successful people in the world do not just find time for their goals, they make time. They structure their day with discipline and refuse to let distractions dictate their actions. When you remove distractions, you create space for value. You create space for learning, growth, and mastery. Instead of scrolling through social media, read books that expand your mind. Instead of binge watching TV shows, develop a skill that increases your income. Instead of engaging in pointless conversations, surround yourself with people who challenge you to think bigger. The key to transformation is not just about cutting things out. It is about replacing them with something better. Adding value to your life means becoming a person who is constantly growing. Most people stop learning the moment they finish school. They assume that education ends with a diploma, but real education begins when you decide to take control of your own development. Every day is an opportunity to get better. Read, listen to podcasts, attend seminars, and invest in courses that expand your knowledge. The more you learn, the more valuable you become. The more valuable you become, the more success you attract. Adding value is not just about what you consume, it is also about what you create. Most people spend their lives as consumers, taking in information, entertainment, and products created by others. But the most successful people shift from being consumers to creators. They build businesses, write books, create content, and develop solutions that impact the world. If you want to be successful, you must shift your focus from consuming what others have built to building something of your own. The easiest way to measure whether something is a distraction or a source of value is to ask yourself, does this move me closer to my goals or does it keep me stagnant? If an activity does not bring you closer to success, it is holding you back. If a relationship does not push you to grow, it is weighing you down. If a habit does not improve your future, it is stealing from you. The moment you start measuring your time and energy this way, your life will begin to change. Discipline is the key to eliminating distractions and adding value. It is easy to fall back into old habits, to waste time on meaningless activities, and to get comfortable with mediocrity. But discipline forces you to stay focused. It forces you to say no to the things that do not serve you and yes to the things that will elevate you. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you take one step closer to success. Every time you replace mindless entertainment with valuable learning, you separate yourself from the masses. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Where you direct it determines the results you get in life. If you focus on distractions, you will live an average life. But if you focus on growth, execution, and adding value, you will achieve more in a few months than most people do in a lifetime. Most people live far below their potential, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they do not demand more from themselves. They settle for good enough. They accept average effort and they become comfortable with mediocrity. But the truth is, if you want to change your life, if you want to reach levels of success that most people only dream about, you must raise your standards. You must decide that the way you have been operating is not enough. You must expect more, push harder, and refuse to accept anything less than the absolute best from yourself. Too many people make excuses for why they are not where they want to be. They blame their circumstances, their past, or the people around them. But the real reason they are stuck is that they have not raised their expectations for themselves. They tolerate laziness, inconsistency, and procrastination. They let themselves off the hook when things get difficult. But winners do not operate this way. The people who achieve greatness do not rely on motivation or inspiration. They hold themselves to a higher standard every single day, whether they feel like it or not. Your life will always rise to the level of the standards you set for yourself. If you tolerate excuses, you will make excuses. If you tolerate average effort, you will get average results. But if you demand excellence from yourself in everything you do, your work, your habits, your mindset, your entire life will transform. The reason so few people ever reach their true potential is that they set the bar too low. They accept being good when they have the capacity to be great. They settle for making a living when they could be building an empire. Demanding more from yourself starts with eliminating the habit of quitting. Most people give up the moment things get uncomfortable. The moment they face resistance, they back down. But the most successful people in the world operate differently. They push through when they don't feel like it. They work when others are resting. They keep moving forward even when progress feels slow, because they understand that quitting is the fastest way to stay average. If you refuse to quit, if you commit to showing up every single day with relentless effort, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. If you allow yourself to be lazy in one area of your life, that mindset will bleed into everything else. If you make excuses in small things, you will make excuses in big things. But when you demand excellence in everything you do, whether it's your work, your health, your relationships, or your personal development, you develop a habit of winning. You become the type of person who does not accept anything less than the best from themselves, and that mindset alone will separate you from the masses. Most people wait for someone else to push them. They wait for a coach, a mentor, a boss, or a deadline to force them into action. But true success comes when you develop the ability to push yourself. When you demand more from yourself, you do not need someone else to hold you accountable. You set your own goals, you enforce your own standards, and you refuse to let yourself operate at anything less than peak performance. That is what separates leaders from followers. Followers need to be told what to do. Leaders hold themselves to a higher standard and execute without being asked. The world does not reward potential. It rewards results. It does not matter how smart you are, how talented you are, or how many great ideas you have. If you are not demanding more from yourself, if you are not executing at the highest level, none of that matters. There are millions of people with potential who will never achieve success because they refuse to push themselves beyond their comfort zone. But if you are willing to demand more from yourself, to work harder, think bigger, and execute faster, you will create opportunities that most people will never experience. Raising your standards means refusing to accept your own excuses. It means holding yourself accountable at a level that most people never will. It means waking up earlier, working longer, and doing what others won't so you can have what others can't. It means giving 100% every single day, not just when you feel like it. And it means constantly challenging yourself to get better, to grow, and to operate at the highest level possible. When you demand more from yourself, you stop settling for average and start expecting greatness. One of the biggest obstacles to demanding more from yourself is the fear of failure. Most people avoid pushing themselves because they are afraid they won't succeed. They are afraid of what others will think. They are afraid of stepping outside their comfort zone. But failure is not the enemy. Comfort is. Growth only happens when you challenge yourself. Progress only comes when you push past what feels easy. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never stop pushing forward, no matter how many times they fail. The truth is, most people have no idea what they are truly capable of. They limit themselves before they even try. They assume they are only capable of a certain level of success, a certain income, or a certain lifestyle. But the only real limits in life are the ones you impose on yourself. When you demand more from yourself, you begin to break through those limits. You begin to realize that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. And the moment you stop settling, your entire life will begin to change. Demanding more from yourself is not about working harder just for the sake of it. It is about unlocking your true potential. It is about becoming the person you were meant to be. It is about refusing to live an average life when you have the power to create an extraordinary one. The people who achieve massive success are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are simply the ones who demand the most from themselves every single day. They refuse to settle, they refuse to make excuses, and they refuse to accept anything less than their absolute best. You must become your own greatest motivator. You must look in the mirror every single day and ask yourself, am I really giving my all? Am I really operating at the highest level possible? And if the answer is no, you must demand more effort, more discipline, more commitment. Because the life you want is not going to be handed to you, it must be earned. And the only way to earn it is by demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever will. Most people spend their lives planning, thinking, and talking about what they want to achieve, but few ever take the kind of action necessary to turn those ideas into reality. They hesitate, they procrastinate, and they allow fear to paralyze them. But success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who execute relentlessly. If you want to change your life, you must become a person of action. You must stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop seeking permission and stop overanalyzing every decision. The only way to get results is to move forward with absolute determination, no matter what obstacles stand in your way. The reason so many people remain stuck is that they are addicted to preparation instead of execution. They convince themselves they need more research, more time, or more resources before they can start. They spend months or even years getting ready, yet they never take the first real step. But preparation without execution is useless. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who know the most, they are the ones who do the most. They understand that progress is made through action, not just through learning. Every second spent hesitating is a second lost forever. Relentless execution means making things happen even when you do not feel like it. Most people only take action when they are motivated, but motivation is fleeting. Some days you will feel inspired and some days you will not. But those who achieve greatness do not let their emotions dictate their actions. They take massive action whether they feel like it or not. They wake up early, they work late, they push through discomfort, and they refuse to accept excuses from themselves. The difference between success and failure is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is the willingness to execute no matter what. Hesitation is the enemy of execution. Every time you second guess yourself, every time you delay taking action, you lose momentum. And without momentum, you remain stuck in the same place, watching opportunities pass you by. Successful people understand that speed matters. When they see an opportunity, they move immediately. When they set a goal, they start working on it that same day. They do not wait for all the pieces to be in place. They take action first and figure out the details along the way. The faster you execute, the faster you get results. Most people are trapped in a cycle of inconsistency. They start something with excitement, but as soon as the initial motivation fades, they slow down or stop altogether. They make progress for a few days or weeks, then fall back into old habits. But real success comes from relentless execution, taking action every single day, no matter what. Winners do not stop when they are tired. They do not slow down when things get hard. They execute with the same intensity on day 100 as they did on day 1. This level of consistency is what separates the great from the average. Relentless execution requires an obsession with results. Most people focus on effort. They tell themselves they are working hard, but they do not measure whether their actions are actually producing results. But effort without results is wasted energy. The most successful people constantly evaluate what is working and what is not. They are not afraid to pivot, adjust, and refine their approach. They do not waste time on things that do not move them forward. They focus on high-impact activities that create real progress, and they execute them with absolute intensity. There is a simple truth that most people refuse to accept. No one is coming to save them. No one is going to hand them success. No one is going to force them to execute. If they want to achieve their goals, they must take full responsibility for making it happen. Relentless execution means refusing to wait for help, for validation, or for the right time. It means making the decision to take massive action regardless of external circumstances. Those who understand this truth rise to the top. Those who do not spend their lives waiting and wondering why success never comes. Distractions are the biggest enemy of relentless execution. The world is filled with things designed to steal your focus: social media, entertainment, meaningless conversations, and endless streams of information. Most people allow these distractions to control their time, and as a result, they never execute at the level necessary to succeed. If you are serious about executing relentlessly, you must eliminate anything that slows you down. You must create an environment where action is the only option, where every minute is spent moving forward, building, creating, and producing results. The most powerful thing about relentless execution is that it compounds over time. Each action builds on the last. Each day of disciplined execution brings you closer to your goals. Most people underestimate the power of consistent action. They think success is about one big move, one lucky break, or one major opportunity. But in reality, success is the result of thousands of small, consistent actions executed relentlessly over time. The people who achieve extraordinary results are simply those who refuse to stop executing day after day, year after year. One of the greatest advantages of executing relentlessly is that it builds unshakable confidence. Most people doubt themselves because they do not take enough action to prove to themselves what they are capable of. But when you execute relentlessly, doubt disappears. When you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible, when you work harder than you ever have before, you start to realize that you are capable of anything. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you earn through relentless execution. Most people fear failure, but those who execute relentlessly see failure differently. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success, it is part of success. Every time they take action, they either win or they learn. They do not waste time dwelling on mistakes or setbacks. Instead, they use every failure as feedback and immediately take more action. This mindset keeps them moving forward while others get stuck in fear and self-doubt. Relentless execution means you keep going no matter what, because you know that every failure brings you one step closer to your goal. The world belongs to those who take action. It does not belong to those who wait, those who hesitate, or those who make excuses. It belongs to those who move fast, execute with intensity, and refuse to stop until they have reached their goals. Most people never reach their full potential because they never develop the habit of relentless execution. But those who do, those who take massive action every single day, without excuses, without hesitation, without waiting, are the ones who rise to the top and create a life that others can only dream about. At the end of this week, you will either be in the same place telling the same tired story, or you will be unrecognizable, standing in a new reality you built with your own hands. The choice is yours. Your future is waiting. Now go get it.